All right, so let's start with some breaking news that has just come in, where the American President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin reportedly held an hour-long phone call that has ended a short while back. The Kremlin has said that reports are that Putin told Trump that Russia is ready to continue talks on Ukraine. The Kremlin aide has said that Putin said that Russia will achieve its goal of removing the root issues that led to the Ukraine war and that he would not step back from his goals on Ukraine. Ushakov has said that Trump and Putin also had some detailed discussions on Iran and the Middle East as well. Now, Putin has emphasized the importance of settling Iran issue exclusively by diplomatic means. They also agreed that they would keep talking to each other. And the conversation, which began at about 10 a.m. Washington time, as previously announced by Trump, comes amidst the ongoing global tensions and the recent diplomatic efforts. This call marks their sixth known phone conversation this year, following some very lengthy discussions on key issues such as the conflict in Ukraine and peace negotiations in West Asia. Now, earlier this week, Putin had spoken with the French President Emmanuel Macron, who has urged for an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine. All right, now, to get us more updates on this, we're joined on this broadcast by our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who's joining us live from New York. Susan, we're given to understand that Donald Trump and Putin have spoken with each other for more than an hour. Give us an upshot of what has actually transpired, and do these phone conversations lead us anywhere closer to a ceasefire in Ukraine?
Well, Reuters is reporting that the Russians, notably Vladimir Putin, was very clear in saying that they're not going to stop right now until they reach their goals in Ukraine, and that Russia's position is that the peace negotiations are going to be between Russia and Ukraine. However, the two sides did agree to continue talking. As you mentioned, they talk a lot about the Iran issue, the issues in the Middle East, and also about how Putin stressed that the only way to solve Iran's nuclear issue is through negotiations. Now, this call comes just shortly after the United States halted weapons shipments to Ukraine and that aid. However, it's also important to note that what we're hearing from the Russian side is that they didn't really talk about the halt in shipment to Ukraine, the weapons shipment, but it is important, even if it did come up, we'll have to get the White House's readout as well, because one of the preconditions for Putin, even during former President Joe Biden's presidency, was that any kind of peace talks would start only if the United States stops shipments of military aid to Ukraine. Now, the United States hasn't stopped completely, but this is a pretty wide package. These are all the backdrops of this conversation. Of course, the two sides said that they're going to continue talking, but it doesn't seem to be, any indication that there's some kind of light at the end of the tunnel for any kind of peace right now, at least. As you also mentioned, it's being reported that President Trump is expected to talk to Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine, the Ukrainian president, either today or tomorrow as well.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Susan Tehrani, for joining us with all those updates there.